Right, let's return there. I ran out of time last time, but let's continue thinking about writing to local storage. So let's come back here. Here we have the 3 set item commands running on local storage. So we are creating basically 3 spaces in local storage, in local storage memory. Okay, and remember, we're only doing this if the values from the 3 form elements are valid. So if that's true, if we have written to local storage, obviously they're valid. So now we can return true back to the web page. And if we return true, then what's going to happen? The action is going to happen. So we're going to go on to the second page. Okay, so let's test this out. Here's our page here. Okay. If I click here, you can see I'm getting HTML validation this time, okay, because I presume off the top of my head, yeah, we're required, okay, so the required means HTML validation is going to kick in. Okay, so let's type just one letter here, age, whatever, and pick the rest of the word this time, and submit. Okay, so our JavaScript is working. Okay, because we're getting this error message here. The name is not long enough. 3 or more characters, please. Okay, so there's our alert message that we typed up here. Okay, what else can we say? Okay, watch what happens now when I click OK here. You can see that whatever we typed in is being highlighted here in blue. Okay, because that is the select JavaScript function working. Okay, so whatever was typed in the name text box, and we're also returning false, so therefore we're stuck on the same page. Okay, so we've told the user, okay, we've highlighted where the error is, and we're stuck on the same page. So let's type that in there. Okay, that's 3 or more characters. So this time we submit. We don't get a message. Okay, we are not highlighting the value, and we're going on to the next page. Okay, and we meet this great yellow empty space here. Okay, why? Because now we have to read our local storage, okay, for the second page. So let's come back up here. Okay, we have our next chunk of JavaScript. Okay, so we need a second function called read local storage. So let's write that. And let's think about this. Okay, we would only be running this if the data from the values from the form elements on the first web page are valid. So if that's true, then we write into local storage. So reading local storage is going to be a lot simpler because we don't have to check if the data in there is valid or anything like that. So we are just going to write some straightforward code. And let's just look at our code here. We want to put our local storage values into these span tags. You can see ID, name underscore ls, age underscore ls, country underscore ls. Okay, so we want to basically write some text in here. Okay, so in order to do that, okay, let's just put some JavaScript comment in here. Okay, what have we got? We've got name underscore ls, age underscore ls, and let me just double check that. Name underscore ls, age underscore ls, and country underscore ls. Okay, so we are going to write into those tags, into those 3 span tags. Okay, so that raised the question, how do I write into a tag? Okay, and the way I do it is we do document dot get element. Okay, and then whatever it's called. So for example, yeah, sorry, I had that spelled correctly. What did I do? I don't know what I did there. Okay, let's come back here. ls. What is the property of this tag we use in order to write into it? It's inner HTML. Okay, inner small I NNER, and then HTML in capital letters. Okay, so that's what we need to remember here. And then we also have, instead of set item, we are going to use get item this time. Okay, and you know how programming code works. Whatever's on the right hand side is read into whatever's on the left hand side. So when we are we are reading from local storage, and we are going to write it into the inner HTML, the contents of these three tags here, these unique IDs here, these three spans. Okay, so it's just local storage.getItem on the right hand side, and then whatever the name of these local storage variables that we had. Okay, so our code is going to be document.getElement. Okay, and let's try and be smart now. Okay, so let's try and be efficient. We can see that the three IDs start with or end with _ls. HTML equals, and then it's going to be local storage dot get item this time, and the three items are called the underscore something. Okay, and let's just double check that. Okay, so document.getElement by ID, the ID dot inner HTML equals local storage dot get item, and then the name of the space like that. Okay, so what I can do here is I can just paste that a few times, and then I know name like that, age, and country like that. Okay, and then I know over here I've got age again. No, I don't. I have name, age, and country like that. And that is essentially it. Okay, so much simpler. So reading local storage much simpler than writing local storage, because the writing local storage is sort of intertwined with checking JavaScript validation for one of the form elements. Okay, so let's see, does this work? Have I saved my code? I have. And I'm just wondering if no, okay. Let's come back here. One more thing to do. Okay, I've got my chunk of code here, but I'm not calling this function. Okay, if you remember, on submit for check form, on submit return check form, that's when we call it. Okay, when do I call this? I'm going to need that because that's the name of the function. When do I call this? I call this when I load the web page. So as soon as I load the web page, I want to run this function. Okay, so what's the event? This time it's on something, just like on submit, on load. Okay, when I load up the web page, I want to read the local storage. Now let's come back and see, does that work? Okay, okay, let's change the data here. Say Mandela, he was Irish, wasn't he? Okay, so we're going to submit, all well there, and we're seeing this information on the second page. Okay, and we can check here. If we go in here and just type local storage, okay, like that, and There we go there. Okay, so the underscore age, the underscore country, the underscore name. Okay, so the data has been written in there properly, and the data has been read from local storage properly and displayed in the web page. Okay, supposing we make errors in our code. Okay, because you may do this, and I don't want to leave you all high and dry wondering how to interpret the errors. So let me make some deliberate errors in here. And before we read local storage, we're going to write local storage. Okay, so let's suppose we have... Okay, let's make a few errors here. Let's make an error with the name of the function. Okay, it's called check form when we run it. Okay, but I have made a mistake with the spelling of the function name. So let's see what's the effect of that. Okay. And the way to do this, if I click on submit here, okay, it's given me the old values here, so it's not working properly. So the way we check is we open up developer tools, F12, and that is not giving us an error. So okay, let's run this. Okay, it's a bit strange. Okay, I'm not quite sure why that was given an error, but let's say we change that there. Okay, change value to Vail. And let's come back here and refresh here. Maybe because it didn't refresh, maybe. Okay, you might have noticed an error come up here. Something came up here in the console. But it's gone on to the second page. Right, okay, I thought we'd see that error, never mind. Okay, if we make a spelling mistake there, and come back here again, let's reset the form, loads of B's, 8888, Ireland. Okay, we're getting an error in here. Okay, so this is the area where you're going to see your errors. So make sure you've got developer tools, F12, open when you're testing your JavaScript, and have the console open. So we're getting an error message here, element by ID, not a function, and there's the error message here. Okay, so and that's the name of the function where we're getting, and we run that, remember, when we load up the web page. So we're getting some help here, so that may be of benefit to you if you have made a mistake. If I save that and run this page again, you can see the error disappears and the updated code version is still pulling that information here. Not sure why it's not using. Yeah, okay, so everything's working okay, so we're getting the values like so. So, best of luck with local storage. Is there anything else I want to mention? Oh yes, the exercise. Where would these videos be without an exercise? What we want you to do is add 4 more form elements to the first page, and just work with, say, radio buttons, email, text box, and remember each radio button needs to have its own value hard coded in. And then modify the check form function so that the values from these extra form elements are written into local storage, and then modify the second function so that the values are read from local storage onto the second web page. So you're going to need to add some extra HTML into both pages. Okay, so A, we've got our form elements in the first page, and B, we've got 4 new span tags with unique IDs where we can display the data. So best of luck with that.